I'm on a mission to feed my family by flipping junk from thrift stores and garage sales. I have a goal to put $1,000 per week into my pocket after eBay fees and income tax. I've been getting very close, but it's not as easy as some people make it look. In this video, I'm going to show you everything that sold this week and take you along on a few thrift runs to hopefully find some good treasures to flip. Now let's get into it. Today is Monday. And we had a very nice weekend of sales. Let me just count it up again, just so I got the right number here. Yeah, and over the last couple days, so since Saturday, we've got 18 things we've got to pack up. So nice little weekend of sales. And yeah, today, normally Monday is a very busy day because obviously I have to pack a lot of boxes. I did a little bit of packing on Saturday just to try to, not have to do so much today all in one. And, now that I'm kind of like in this, if you've been following me for a little while, I am new to doing this kind of quote full time. I'm working about 9 to 1 every day. And, that way I can like take my kids to school, pick them up, and I'm still kind of doing the stay-at-home dad thing, but just not like full time. They're, obviously they're still very young, 6 and 3. And so they still, need me quite a bit, but I'm trying to really make this my primary income. And I have that goal to generate $1,000 a week in profit. That's after eBay fees and income tax. So maybe closer to like, $1,200 in profit, but after fees and everything, you get to like $1,000. And I really, trying to squeeze that into just those couple hours that I have. Now, all that being said, my son is home from school today sick. He's upstairs watching a movie right now. My wife works from home too, most of the time, which is, great, so she can kind of sit there and keep an eye on him for at least a little bit while I'm packing up the boxes. So, today is not going to be the best day just because he's home sick. But, obviously there's a little bit of disappointment around that. I haven't been doing this for that long, like kind of full time. And it's been exciting to like dive into it more and try and get, as much out of this as I can. And it's a little bit of a disappointment, like, oh, he's homesick from school. I would love to send him off to school today. But again, it's like, that's kind of why I'm doing this, right? Is like this morning, I didn't call my boss and ask, hey, I'm not going to be working that hard today. My son is homesick from school. And there's some jobs where you can get away with that, but not very many, And so, that's like the reason I'm doing this is, I didn't call anybody. I'm kind of like partially calling out today, and I'm just going to do what I can. Now, since he's homesick, I think I'm going to take an opportunity to do a thrift run this afternoon. And there's like a little kids museum nearby, a thrift store I like to go to. So we're going to probably do that little route today and, make the most of it. But I'm not really going to have time to, prep anything. Probably not going to be able to make any listings today. Maybe a couple if I find a few spare minutes later. But, yeah, just like kind of is what it is, and like I said, that's why I'm doing this, is for that flexibility to be there for them when they need me. So all is going to plan. But anyway, let's jump into these 18 things and get these packed up. Up first, we've got this Sony cassette player recorder. Picked up for $2 from a garage sale, I believe, and sold this for $20 plus shipping. We've got a vintage 90s J. Crew turtleneck. I picked up a huge lot of a bunch of 90s sweatshirts. It was somebody's like personal collection, I think. I ended up paying $4 a piece for them. And I've sold a couple already, and I got a few more after this one, but sold this one for $40 plus shipping. We've got this. So I don't normally talk about this because it's not really that interesting, but since I've been selling more clothing, I have been getting some returns. Nothing crazy, and I do buyer paid returns, so it's not coming out of my pocket. This isn't for issues of like, items not as described or whatever. It's just things haven't been fitting. This one actually got returned because of the person put the wrong address in. So this was an item I sold previously, was this Porsche trucker hat, this 80s snapback. It's a really cool item. Last time I sold it for $40, so I had taken an offer. And then it got sent back to me. I relisted it, and this time sold it for $50. So it all kind of worked out. We sold another sweater today. This is another 90s. This one's Banana Republic. Sold it for $40 plus shipping. And then another sweater. This one was from a not as well-known brand. Couldn't really find much information on it, to be honest, but it's still a nice sweater. It's Mario Haddad, something like that. Again, paid $4, sold for $20 plus shipping. We've got this Department 56, picked up a big lot of these recently, $5 a piece for, I think it was 14 different buildings from the Department 56 like Christmas Village set. And sold the first one. This is Ebenezer Scrooge's Flat for $25 plus shipping. Sold a pair of women's jeans. It's from this brand 77. Paid $5 from a garage sale, sold for $18 plus shipping. Another garage sale pickup, paid $10 for this lot of 30 Atari games. And really wasn't sure, how long to wait for these. I got an offer and was just happy to kind of sell them fast. I think I could have got a little bit more money, but the sell-through is not great on these, to be honest. But paid 10, got 23 plus shipping for them. My wife picked this up from the bins for $1. It's this Odd Future snapback, sold it for 21 plus shipping. Paid $5 for this bearskin hoodie from a garage sale, sold for 41 plus shipping on an offer, had it listed for 50. Picked up this 7 Diamonds 4-way stretch shirt for $5 from a Goodwill and sold for 25 plus shipping. Another garage sale pickup, paid $50, so I paid up for this a little bit, but it seemed like kind of a slam dunk, so I just went for it. It's this Carhartt Yukon Extremes insulated coveralls. Very heavy, very, very nice item. I had it listed for $120. And again, with clothing, I'm kind of just like, sell it. From my experience with it, like the perfect person comes along and wants it. It's their size. It's like a style they like. There's a lot of competition for clothing. Just sell it, Give someone a good deal. I took an offer for 90 plus shipping. It is going all the way to Alaska, so we will see if I lose money on the shipping. I did charge $15, but it's a big, heavy item, so we'll see. Picked this up from an online estate sale. It's this Canon StarWriter word processor. Paid $2. No one else wanted it. It's like an auction style. You bid online, then you go pick the item up in person. So $2 we won this item, sold for $275 plus shipping pretty quickly too, actually. Got another sweater sold from that lot. Again, $4 this time. This one is a 525 menswear is the brand. It's rayon. It's very interesting material. It's almost like reflective a little bit. Pretty cool little item, sold for $30 plus shipping. Picked these up from a garage sale about 2 weeks ago. It is a lot of Dino Trucks die-cast cars. So they look like a mix between like a construction vehicle and a dinosaur. Definitely keep an eye out for these because I sold them very quick. I only paid $3. Sold them for $80 plus shipping. We paid $25 for this Star Wars moving, talking Yoda figure. Sold a lot slower than I expected, to be honest. But we did end up taking an offer last night. Sold it for $77 with free shipping. It's going all the way to California, so I think we'll make like 15 to 20 bucks on that. Sold a sweater. This is not from that same lot, but another vintage sweater. Paid $3 from a garage sale for this. Sold it for 21 plus shipping. And then the last item today is this Burberry London button-down. Paid $5 from a thrift store and sold it on an offer for 20 plus shipping. So that is everything we've got today. Let me get these packed up, and then I am heading out to the thrift store, a little kids museum.
Now, before I hit this thrift store, if you're new here, I'm also on a quest to collect the top 100 N64 games of all time, and I am down to the wire with only 3 left to go. The catch is I can only use 10% of the profits I make on eBay to buy new games for the collection. Let's hope we can find some cool stuff at this thrift store. Let's go hunting. They actually had a really nice deal today. Spend $10 and get a free pair of pants. So this pile was only $25 cash all in.
All right, so good morning. It is Wednesday, and I've got 8 more things I've got to pack up that have sold over the last 2 days. But before we do that, we are back with our Wednesday Weird and Wacky Bolo. And what I've got for you today, Pez dispensers. Like most collectibles, 99% of these are not worth picking up. So obviously the vintage ones are better. And a couple of the ways you can tell is that the heads are soft. So like soft head Pez dispensers, and ones that are missing the feet. So if you look at a Pez dispenser, along the bottom, there's like this almost like heart shape. And those are the feet. The ones that don't have feet are vintage, very old, and are worth a lot more money. So we're gonna go through a couple of these, sorted high to low,
brand new sealed. Is this sealed? It's hard to tell. Somebody got, so it's 4 Space Gun Pez dispensers. $5,000 they got for that. Someone got on bids a lot. It looks like, maybe about between 50 and 100 for $1,100 on bids, this Pez dispenser lot. So we've got this astronaut for $1,100. A lot of 6. It's all these like monsters, including like the creature from the Black Lagoon, $1,000. 3 for $850. There's like these ones have feet, but they're vintage ones. So there's looks like maybe Thor and a fireman, $850. Got a bunch of Looney Tunes. Again, these are all missing the feet. You've got looks like Batwoman, Popeye, Bugs Bunny, $800. A lot of 3 dispensers. Again, all vintage, missing the feet, $750. You've got a little sheriff character. Somebody got $500. You've got this is from, they're estimating somewhere between 1950 and 1965. So there you go. Normally not worth picking up like the modern ones unless they're like, getting them dirt cheap and you do like a big lot or something. But like keep an eye out for these vintage Pez dispensers. There are some good ones. That was Wednesday's Weird and Wacky Bolo. And now I've got 8 things that sold on eBay, but I've also got 3 more items that have sold over the past 2 days. That was actually yesterday. I sold 3 things on Facebook Marketplace. So I've had a couple of items on the eBay store that haven't been selling. Been a little bit like, not like hesitant, but, just like focusing on eBay. And I want to start getting into Facebook Marketplace a little bit. Just like certain items that, you're opening up like another opportunity to make some sales, and some things that are not good on eBay, like big items, things that are hard to ship. Not going super, super crazy there yet, but just like opening myself up to it, and sold a couple of items. So first, I sold this Infinity Gauntlet. It is from, I think it was 2014, Comic-Con exclusive, like collectible. Picked it up at a flea market for $40 because I saw comps on eBay for around like 100, and it had been on eBay for over a year. And no offers, like nothing. Not really sure why. It's a pretty cool item. And maybe just Marvel's like not hot right now probably is really the issue. But listed it on Marketplace a couple days ago, and immediately, I had it up for 80. Immediately got an offer for $50. Just took it. And then the same person was interested in a lot of dollhouse furniture. So my wife had an old dollhouse she kept since she was a kid. And it's a lot of like little wooden pieces. They're valuable. But the sell-through rate on eBay is really, really bad. Like it would be listed for a very, very long time. So we listed it as a lot on eBay for $50 actually, because I was trying to sell it fast. And we got offered 100. So we raised the price to 100. And somebody got really mad at us, by the way. Oh, why'd you raise the price? You should honor your $50. First time on Marketplace. So anyway, this person bought the Infinity Gauntlet and the furniture for $150 cash, which was great. So, I don't know what we have into the furniture. It's kind of just like something we had. So, maybe we'll call that like $50 profit and $10 profit on the Infinity Gauntlet. So happy to have sold both of those items. And then we picked up at a garage sale a bunch of Littlest Pet Shop, like doll houses, little like, carrying cases and like buildings and stuff. And we sold that for $25. So that's another $20 profit. So nice ones there. I think it's interesting, like, it's definitely something I've been sleeping on. It's just kind of a hassle. Like Facebook Marketplace is kind of a pain in the ass. Like, you got to deal with messages. You got to deal with flakes. It's not as like hands off as eBay. It's like they buy it or they don't, and you just ship it. You don't have to like talk to anybody or meet up with anybody. So it's, it can be a little bit time consuming, and you just have to be careful. Like I have, the app on my phone, and will answer questions or messages if they come up, but I don't get like excited. Like you don't get, emotionally attached to any message. You kind of just have to assume like they're not going to follow through. It's just not worth the trouble. I've set it up where I say it's cash only. I don't take Venmo, I don't take Zelle, don't take anything like that. It's cash only. I'm not going to drive to meet anybody. I've had people ask, oh, will you meet me halfway? Nope, absolutely not. Because people are just like huge flakes. It's not going to be worth your trouble. So I have a location literally 2 minutes from my house, and I say, message me when you're 5 minutes away and I'll come meet you. And, people like back out or like move the time or whatever. And it is what it is. I just kind of assume that it's not going to sell until they're literally like
hey, I'm here. So I think that's important to just like keep your expectations realistic, that, most people that message you are not going to actually follow through and buy the item, and that's totally okay. And so yeah, I want to keep myself open to the idea of Facebook Marketplace. Like if there's certain things like, you get a big lot of, again, like dollhouse furniture. If I find vintage dollhouse furniture, I'm going to grab it again, like at a garage sale. I wouldn't list it on eBay, but it's sold within like 2 or 3 days of listing it on Facebook Marketplace. Dipping my toe very slowly into that world as well. I don't have space to like, I know people like flip bikes and, yard equipment and furniture, and I don't want to get into that really just yet, but maybe eventually. Just keep your eye open for that kind of opportunity. So anyway, let's jump into the 8 items that sold over the last 2 days on eBay. And up first, we've got this pair of women's UGG slippers. Paid $3 from a garage sale for these like 9 months ago. And again, out of season, but finally sold them for $25 plus shipping. Got this pair of Polo Ralph Lauren. It's called the Andrew pant. It is a corduroy pants, and they're in red. Big, bold article of clothing here. This kind of stuff should catch your eye. But picked these up for $4 and sold them for $30 plus shipping. I sold my own diaper bag. My kids are out of diapers, so don't need this anymore. And just like a break even, but sold it for $25 plus shipping. Got this, I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, but I think it's Chinon. This digital camera. Oh, actually, it's a film camera. Sorry, 35 millimeter film camera. Picked it up for $15 from a thrift store and sold for $80 plus shipping. Got this pair of vintage Adidas track pants. Paid $10 from a thrift store, sold for $21 plus shipping. Got this Banana Republic Pearl Snap shirt. $4 from a thrift store, sold for $18 plus shipping on an offer. Picked this up for $2 from a garage sale. It is this Wilson A600 catcher's mitt. So it's adult size. Sold for $65 and free shipping. We've got this vintage 90s Nautica jacket. Picked up for $2 from a garage sale and sold for $30 plus shipping. And that's everything I've got today. Let's get these packed up.
And we found time for another thrift run this week. Let's see what we can find. They had a couple of DVD VCR combos, which I love to pick up if I can, but unfortunately these weren't quite worth it. I'm getting very picky with these, looking for at least a $30 profit. And a quick scan through the shoes led me to this pair of Pilati driving shoes that seemed interesting. It's actually a pretty good brand, but at this price and condition, I unfortunately had to leave them behind. Thankfully, the clothing racks were pretty kind to me today, and I picked out this Patagonia vest for $18. A bit expensive, but should sell for right around $30. A Vineyard Vines quarter zip for about $6. Yellow tags are 25% off today. A vintage Cabela's canvas work vest for about $10 that should sell for around $30. And the best item of the day by far, this Lucky Brand Bonneville leather jacket with comps all day for between $100 and $150.
So before I get into what sold over the last couple days, last week and the week before was really like clearing out all of the clothing that I've built up. And then this week, I'm just trying to like catch up on like back stock essentially. I've been sourcing and like going to garage sales and doing all that. And then finally within the last couple of weeks, I really have a lot more time to sink into, testing and listing and doing all of that. And my sales have been growing because of it, thankfully. But I've also been diving into Facebook Marketplace. So I have a bunch of things that were like, in hindsight, not the best items for eBay. I've been listing a bunch of that stuff and doing pretty well. And then today I put up a bunch of Playmobil sets. So I bought a bunch of these at a Goodwill probably about like 6 months ago. Huge boxes, like definitely valuable items, maybe like, $50 to $100 a set. Complete. I'm into it for like $50. So I decided to just list the whole lot for $150 on Facebook Marketplace, and we'll see what happens. Hoping I can just sell those quickly rather than like, spending hours like trying to go through it and squeeze like every last dollar out. And now over the last couple days, I've been getting back into video game consoles. So I have a huge pile of those, all different generations, just kind of like, low-hanging fruit, like picking through what I can. And I have a bunch of accessories like consoles and things like that. So today I listed a bunch of GameCube controllers. I listed another PlayStation. But long story short, this week is starting to get into a lot of the electronics. So the basement is looking a lot better, starting to clean it out and getting a bunch of that stuff listed. So you're going to start seeing a bunch of probably VCRs and consoles sell over the next week or two, just as I catch up on a lot lot of that stuff. You know, the downside of electronics is they are a lot more work up front versus like, you know, clothing and other things, but they sell really fast. If you're buying the right stuff, you know, they sell really fast. So unfortunately, like I'm only listing a couple things a day, like in the few hours that I have to dedicate to this, but they're valuable and they sell fast. So, you know, yesterday I listed 2 consoles and I sold 2 consoles. So anyway, let's jump into these couple of items. And up first is this. It's called Vintage. The brand is Shalene of Dublin. It is a vintage cable knit sweater. Picked this up for $5 from a garage sale a few months back, and now that we're in season, it sold for $40 plus shipping. Sold a lot of Girl Scout patches. Picked these up from an online estate sale. I believe you paid about $10 for these. Sold them for $35 plus shipping, very fast. Next up is this New York Giants Super Bowl Champions hoodie. Paid $5 from a garage sale for this. Sold it for $35 plus shipping. Got this lot of die-cast NASCAR transporters, like the semi-trucks. I bought a bunch of Hot Wheels. I really just want to like learn more about the category and bought like a huge box and tried to find some value in it. And unfortunately, there wasn't anything good, but I did learn quite a bit about what types of Hot Wheels to look for. And these were okay. These were like worth the trouble for listing. So I paid $5 for the box and got 10 plus shipping for these. So at least made a little bit of money. This book was in a lot of books I picked up from an estate sale. I bought a bunch of encyclopedias and a couple random books. This one was secretly kind of a banger. Paid, was it $30 for the lot? I have the encyclopedias on Facebook Marketplace right now. I'm asking $100. I could get like $200 on eBay, but they're just gonna be a pain in the butt to package and do all that. So hopefully I can sell that locally. But I also sold this book. It's a signed copy of Toni Morrison's The Dancing Mind. Got $100 plus shipping for that. So let's say I have like $15 into it. Sold this vintage Y2K hoodie, picked up for $5 from a Goodwill, sold for $23 plus shipping. Sold a watch. This one was $3 from a garage sale, sold for $19 plus shipping. It's this like women's gold tone watch. Come across this particular style kind of often actually, especially at the thrift store and like garage sales and stuff. I've sold like 4 or 5 different watches with this same type of general design. Yeah, nice little like $20 staple, nothing crazy. So this next item I picked up for $5 from a thrift store. It is this Peter Worth shirt jacket, sold for $25 plus shipping. Got that Nintendo GameCube that I mentioned. This was part of a huge video game pickup months and months ago, and finally getting around to getting all of these listed. I maybe have like 20 to 30 bucks into this one and sold it for $81 plus shipping. I'm sending offers on this kind of stuff now too, because I really just want to sell this fast. I don't want to be sitting on this past the holiday season. So my goal is to try to get all of the video game consoles I have sold before Christmas. So I'm happy to give good prices on these. But yeah, $81 plus shipping for that. Sold the final G.I. Joe comic book. I picked up a bunch of these from a thrift store, $6 a pop. Made a bunch of money on these. This was the last 2 comic books from that haul. Sold on as part of our sale. So I had this 30% off. So I got $13 plus shipping. So made a couple bucks on this, but did very, very good on that lot. We sold a PlayStation 1. Again, I'll say I have like 15 to 20 bucks into this. Sold it for $50 plus shipping, includes a controller and cords. And then the final sale today is this Polo Ralph Lauren long sleeve polo shirt. Paid $4 from a garage sale and sold for $28 plus shipping. So that is everything I've got today. Let me get these packed up, and then we're tallying up the game fund.
And with that, we generated $889 and my new best week ever. We're slowly working our way towards that $1,000 per week goal. That also leaves us with $290 in the game fund, which means we're adding another game to the collection this week. For $140, we are adding a copy of Goemon's Great Adventure, putting us at 98 out of our top 100 N64 games. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next one.